Welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. Okay, so if you saw the thumbnail, I said Shedeur is undeniably generational talent. This has been proven, right? And when was this cemented in the minds of people, haters, however you want to say it, maybe people who just don't know, right? It was cemented in the minds of people after the Raiders game. So tell me why after the Raiders game would Albert Breer, who's an NFL insider, also works for Sports Illustrated, which is quite interesting because Sports Illustrated has been favorable to Shedeur a lot. One of the few publications that is consistently speaks highly of Shedeur. But Albert Breer, being a senior writer for Sports Illustrated and also an NFL insider, is an avid hater of Shedeur. And I posted up Albert Breer strikes again after the Raiders game because he said, should the Browns have traded or should the 49ers, whoever, have traded for Shedeur at the trade deadline? Now, remember, there was no motion for Shedeur at the trade deadline. I maintain one of the things Andrew Berry may have said to Shedeur is you did good because Shedeur is supposed to increase his draft stock, the whole locker room hug thing, appreciation, attaboy, right? I think he got the attaboy, you did good. But I feel like if he didn't say it, he's working to, I'm going to get you out of here. That's kind of what I was thinking. Because Andrew Berry's whole premise this whole time has been for Shedeur Sanders to improve his draft stock, increase his draft stock. He said he knew he would. I said when. They said the last 4 games. Now they're coming up on week 13. How many games they have left? 5? 5 or, yeah, I think maybe 5. Because remember, Shedeur was supposed to do the last 4 games, but turns out he might get the last Raiders, Titans, and then move into the last 4. So the last 6.5, right? So they didn't split the season down the middle. They gave it to Flacco, gave Dylan. Dylan is 1-5. 1-5. And people maintaining that they might need to see more from Dylan. I don't need to see nothing else from Dylan. Dylan plays 6 games. Seems like to me, Shedeur is listed at QB1 on the depth chart now. We talked about it on the previous podcast because he's going to play 6 games. So 6 and 6 with the starts, and then Flacco had the rest. Also seems a little bit premeditated. But instead of the 4 games that Stefanski said was pure speculation, to his surprise, Shedeur got 2 additional games because winning is supposed to be the point, not losing with Dylan, just because for the sake of not putting Shedeur out here. So that's kind of promising. Also, too, I do believe you'll hear more trade talk scenarios about Shedeur. And if the NFL want to go to war with their fans and the Browns get a test, it can happen. Trade Shedeur anything less than QB1. And it's going to be on. And I'm serious because I look through the comments, whether it's Albert Breer's comments or other people's comments, when I'm reposting, retweeting, or whatever, and people going at Albert Breer pretty tough, right? Because why? Now he wants to ask about Shedeur being traded. Understand this. When I say Albert Breer strikes again, and he putting out should have traded for Shedeur. So Shedeur looks like a generational talent, something the Browns need and have been thirsty for a long time. And now you want to talk about trading him to the 49ers because Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions. No, they got Mac Jones over there. See, you got to look for the play. And with them and people like Breer, you always got to look for the play. And with him being an NFL insider, he not just talking for the sake of talking. He doing what they always do, pushing a narrative. So now that Shedeur balls out, oh, let's talk about a trade. Instead of, Shedeur is doing really good. They can't do that. People in his comments say he's doing nothing but deflecting, and he a hater so much that he can't, just compliment Shedeur. And this is facts, right? This is straight facts. They call him Rex Ryan Bucky the Beaver because he over there talking about Shedeur didn't win. He didn't even play good. It was their defense. They had 10 sacks. Why it can't be the defense and Shedeur and Isaiah Bond and Dylan Sampson? why does Shedeur have to get negated? Because they don't want him to succeed, just like they don't want Lamar Jackson to succeed. It's the same thing. These beautifully melanated brothers get kicked on incessantly by people who don't want to see 17, 18, 19, 20 black starting quarterbacks in this league. I think they'd rather blow it all up than to have 17 to 32 black quarterbacks, which is what Shedeur was supposed to be. So Albert Breer, I want to share with y'all some of the things he has said about Shedeur so you can kind of understand when knowing he's an NFL insider and the narratives that he's pushed, you ought to know he's pushing another narrative. And now with Andrew Berry coming to Shedeur in the locker room, you ought to get ready for hearing trade scenarios. But pay attention. Pay attention to where he's going to be traded. Should they have traded for Shedeur, knowing damn well they wasn't putting Shedeur behind no damn Mac Jones, who's second behind Brock Purdy. So what Albert Breer is suggesting that the talk is essentially, we're going to trade him less than a QB1. And the other talk about, well, maybe people need to see more from Dylan. Nobody needs to see anything else from Dylan. If you go back and look at the wins and the losses, Shedeur stopped the slide. They were on a 3-game losing streak. He handed them setting a record for being the first quarterback and 30 years, a rookie, to win his game. Now they're talking about he had the most 10 point so many yards per play per game, which is setting another kind of record. And then he had over 125 yards in one half and of his season debut or something like that. And somebody came to me when I talked about what Tommy Callahan said about Shedeur Sanders being the first NFL QB period in 120 years in league history in his NFL in any NFL debut to have 2 passes over 50 plus yards completed. And somebody said, Cam did. I went back and checked. I checked StatMuse. Shout out to StatMuse. Cam had 1 for 77 and the other one was for like 43. Close. Shedeur. So with this kid out here showing he's generational talent, just doing what he loved to do, just playing the sport, even being set up by Stefanski, still setting records, breaking all kinds of records. And with the NFL having the ugly history that it has with black quarterbacks and black players, period, you would think at some point, are you just going to stop and let them play ball? No. Here come Albert Breer. Should the Niners have traded for him, knowing he's suggesting that Shedeur should have been traded as something less than a QB1 because now he's a QB1. So what do? Pay attention to the narrative. One thing about the conflict of interest with ESPN and NFL having a 10% stake in it, you can't listen to nothing they say no more. It was already hard to listen to anyway. But now that the NFL has 10% in a media outlet, you can listen to nothing they say. And you have to believe that Rex Ryan is their mouthpiece. And as much as Stephen A would like to have us believe that he can still say whatever, no, he can't. That's why he got his own podcast. He cannot. He even had the trash Shedeur a little bit after watching him get on cam for trying to trash Shedeur. You can't believe nothing they say. That's why you got outlets like NFL, CBS on NFL out here licensing Shedeur music, which means he's making money off of it for them to cut away to a commercial because they know fans like Shedeur. They know this, so they're going to capitalize off of it. Who's mad? Nobody. Nobody. But people like Albert Breer, who can't admit that Shedeur should have been a first-round top 5 QB drafted, and Jackson Dart should have never, ever been drafted ahead of Shedeur. That's what they don't want to say. And Tyler Shaw should have never been drafted ahead of Shedeur. Because one thing about Shedeur is QB1 starting the season, they will be on playoff contention right now. But maybe that's what they didn't want because it would negatively affect their first round pick or whatever they're trying to do. But I find it very interesting that they took a big swing and miss with Deshaun, so they didn't get Shedeur. But now they want to get somebody else who's not better than Shedeur and discard Shedeur. Do it. I maintain you never had to draft him, but you didn't have to disparage and discriminate against him and devalue him either. If you were supposed to be a placeholder for him after you knew he was a franchise QB, you were supposed to capitalize off of the gift that he has for the sport of football and put yourself for your fan base in playoff contention. Because remember, you still got Deshaun. So if you took a big swing and miss with Deshaun when it was time for Shedeur, you took a big swing and miss with Deshaun when it's time for Mendoza, when it's time for anybody else. Oh, yeah, the rules don't change because the skin color is different. So you make concessions for a white quarterback or a non-white quarterback, but you want to shun your franchise QB that's sitting on your roster because he's black. And then Albert Breer, who's an NFL insider, and it just would not surprise me if he was one of the people that told Mel Kiper Jr., the NFL don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now. So when Shedeur shows he's generational talent, should the 49ers have traded for him behind Brock Purdy and Mac Jones? Because now he a QB1. So let me see what you're going to do now. I don't give a damn if you put Dylan back out there. It doesn't change that Shedeur is QB1. It doesn't change that Shedeur is generational talent. That will never change. And there will never be a justification for taking Shedeur Sanders off the draft board. By who? The owners. I saw a post today that said, I guess it's safe for us to say that all 32 NFL GMs, which includes Andrew Berry, colluded against Shedeur Sanders. I said, the owners, not the GMs. The owners colluded against Shedeur. And who did y'all see Coach Prime with yesterday? I mean, whose suite was he in? Some people thought mistakenly that was a Brown suite. No, Coach Prime was allowed to have a suite by the owner of the Vegas Raiders, Mark Davis. Now, Shedeur plays for the Browns, but the Ravens owner extended a suite to Coach Prime. The opposing team's owner extended a suite to Coach Prime. Now, remember, there's a video out there with Coach Prime, Shedeur, Shiloh, everybody taking a tour of Allegiant Stadium. And I remember Coach Prime asking Shiloh or one of them if they liked the stadium, indicating that they could potentially both play there. And we know if Antonio Pierce was still there, both of them likely would have gone there. We know this because we knew Coach Prime had a relationship with Mark Davis. We knew after the draft, he didn't have a relationship with nobody because there's no way any of them could call him friend. But what we're seeing is an owner patch up his relationship with Coach Prime at a time that they just fired the offensive coordinator and they need what? A quarterback. And Tom Shady was nowhere to be found. MIA on the back of a milk carton. Supposedly calling another game. I wonder why he didn't want to be there. I mean, Shedeur is his mentee, right? For more than a year. So anytime you come to town and your mentor leave, they did you dirty. In any mentee-mentor relationship, they know you coming to town, they hit the highway, they did you dirty. But to see Mark Davis extend a suite to Coach Prime is the first step toward the owner's circle making it right. What did I say? I'm shocked they let Coach Prime come in the tunnel. I sure was. So he got to go down in the tunnel. Some people say he was on the sideline. I didn't see that part. And he got a suite from the Vegas owners because they were friends. And who knows what they talked about. Maybe he told him what really happened. Maybe Shedeur end up in Vegas. He should stay in Cleveland. But then again, maybe he should leave. Because when you don't protect generational talent that is your franchise QB that you were going to get at number 2, but you got him at number 44 for less money and you don't protect it, you ain't trying to win. And he need to move on to a team that actually wants to win. There are teams that truly want to win. There are GMs that want to win. There are head coaches that want to win. Unfortunately, that is not the Cleveland Browns. And for all of Andrew Berry's hard work, and once again, he's getting praise of putting together a damn good draft class, and Stefanski trying to whiz it away. And they on the same team. They supposed to be on the same side. They supposed to have the same agenda. But I think Barry had figured out that Stefanski not trying to win, and he know that that's going to hurt his players' draft stock. And it wouldn't surprise me if Barry and Haslam have already discussed, now that Shedeur balling out, to trade him, because Barry also knows they don't want a black franchise QB long term. They can't stomach it. So I'm going to get you out of here. And yeah, he going to have to deal with the other owners. But now that we see Mark Davis extending niceties to Coach Prime, how long before Jerry Jones offers up something? Star, remember they wanted to do that spring game. They talked about coming to the Star, Texas Tech versus Colorado. Maybe that'll happen. Now, we know Coach Prime went to the Star already for the Big 12 event, but that didn't have nothing to do with him. And remember, number 88, Michael Irvin was with him. And we thought that was great to support him. And I said that must have been tough going there, because Jerry Jones and Coach Prime was tight. Because, after all of that happened with the draft, remember the Gambler, Jerry Jones Netflix special came out. I was like, Coach Prime in that? Michael Irvin in that? And Michael Irvin has a reputation. Still has his relationship with Jerry Jones. So I know Michael Irvin then tried to talk to Jerry Jones. And I also know that Jerry Jones did what the rest of them did. And if he wasn't the ringleader, he went along with it. But for Mark Davis and Coach Prime's relationship to be on the mend, that's good. Bucky was allowed to film that game too. Okay. Shedeur named QB1 on the depth chart. Okay. He should ride out the rest of the season. And if they want to trade him. But you got to trade him as a QB1. You absolutely must do that. You cannot downgrade him. And understand, Stefanski still being left in place, like I said earlier, is allowed to do more damage. And that will be his sole purpose, is to reduce his draft stock, just like they did after the Panthers game, so he could get set up. I don't know who he going to enlist with over 10 million people watching. I really don't. I don't know who he going to list, but he going to try it. And that should be the end of him, because it already should have been the end of him. So let's take a look at Albert Breer and what he has said about Shedeur, so you can get some context on where this message is coming from, how this is Albert Breer essentially dismissing Shedeur's accomplishments in the Raiders game by suggesting he should have been drafted before the deadline by a team that I think has 4 quarterbacks on the roster. And y'all know one is Brock Purdy, one is Mac Jones, and he's not talking about QB1. Some of these people are just shameful. That's just all it is. They just shameful. And they just really do not want to see a black quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, who has how many fans, succeed. Because then they're going to be held accountable for how they treat or mistreat Shedeur Sanders, which is currently the page we are on in the book. Chapter 2, the mistreatment of Shedeur Sanders, the Cleveland Browns. Chapter 1 is the draft. All right, so here we go. So I said, what has Albert Breer said about Shedeur? And I said, is Albert Breer an insider? And he's like, yes, Albert Breer is an NFL insider, yada, yada, yada. Okay, here we go. So it said Albert Breer has reported on both Shedeur Sanders' struggles and positive moments during the rookie season with the Cleveland Browns, as well as the reasons behind his pre-draft slide. It said Breer initially shared that Sanders' draft stock fell due to his pre-draft process and on-field talent concerns. What on-field talent concerns? It said, but more recently acknowledged encouraging aspects of Sanders' first NFL start. Here we go. So, yeah, he tried to ask if he should be traded to a team that he would never be QB1. All these people trying to clean up their acts. All of these people, because I read about Albert Breer and did a whole video about it. It's already out there. I think I got 2 videos with clips of what he said about Shedeur before Shedeur got probably midway through training camp. So it said concerns about his attitude. Pre-draft reported on why Sanders fell in the draft. It said, according to Breer, Sanders handled the draft process as if he were a guaranteed top 5 pick. He was a guaranteed top 5 pick. When was he not a guaranteed top 5 pick? Let's be honest. He was a guaranteed top 5 pick the morning of the draft. It even said, oh, it's a good thing Shedeur didn't come to the draft because he got locked out the first round. We knew he wasn't going to number 21 first. We knew it started with number 2, and it should have been number 1 overall. And at the latest, it would have been 6. He talking about the New York Giants because I read about this cat. He says he handled the pre-draft process as if he were a guaranteed top 5 pick. He reportedly declined to meet with some teams and gave poor interviews, which indicated he was trying to steer himself away from certain places. He talking about the New York Giants. He's talking about the New York Giants. So if you want to draft me, if I'm in part of the draft process, do I absolutely have no choice in where I can go? Coach Prime had a choice. Several white players had a choice. Why would he want to go to a team that talked trash about his father? That's who they talking about, the New York Giants. It said issues and interviews. Breer reported that in one interview, when asked about an interception he threw while at Colorado, Sanders did not take the blame and suggested that he and his team staff might not be a good match. Who are we talking about? Pat Schumer. Who did Pat Schumer used to work for? The New York Giants. It said he also failed to catch mistakes planted in a mock play installation by another team. Okay. So if that really did happen, first of all, where's the video? How do we even know it happened? See, it's he say, she say, right? But does that mean I'm not a good quarterback? See, they did the same thing to Lamar Jackson. They tried to use some test to say mentally he wasn't capable of being a quarterback. That ain't even been 10 years. And they still with it. They still with this ridiculousness about black quarterbacks don't have the mental capacity to be a quarterback. They did away with the Wonderlic test after Lamar Jackson, but then they got another one and they did the same shit to CJ Stroud. Now they're trying to do the same shit to Shedeur. And all them people that came out there on 4-4 was out there faking and shaking. Every last one of them, which is why the NFL Network was so nasty towards Shedeur and probably why they owned by ESPN right the hell now to try to hide that damn discovery. It said talent concerns. Breer stated that the NFL evaluators did not see Sanders as a first-round talent, citing a lack of athleticism and exceptional arm talent. Excuse me? They're talking about the person who in the NFL is the only NFL quarterback, even though he's a rookie. It didn't say rookie quarterback. Well, it did. It said debut. The only NFL rookie quarterback in his first official start to have 2 50-plus yard passes. Yes, Cam Newton came close. One was 77 to Steve Smith Jr. that resulted in a touchdown, and the other was like about 43, maybe 48 yards. So Cam Newton was close, and he had a long career with the Panthers. But what did they do to the Cam Newton at the end? While he was also a target of Bountygate, led by Sean Payton as the head coach. They said he was untradeable. They couldn't find nobody to trade with him after this man took these people to the Super Bowl. Do y'all know Cam got a Pro Bowl nod his first rookie year? He was a dog. I was like, geez. And they did him like this? It never changes for black quarterbacks. So you see this lie right here that he was repeating, citing his lack of athleticism. That's where Andrew Berry came in with the retro style pocket passing. That's what he was talking about. Talking about Shedeur wasn't athletic. We like, first of all, his escapability is top tier. And secondly, he ran for his whole damn life and still was the best quarterback coming out of college. This is why you can't believe nothing they say. This is a one-sided situation. The players are forced to meet with people who only want to set them up to devalue them. And then when they trashed his dad, he's supposed to be happy to go to the New York Giants. That's why Daboll got fired. Evaluators also noted poor habits, such as taking unnecessary sacks and bailing out of the pocket. Now, understand this. He bails out of the pocket and he don't have no athleticism. He takes unnecessary sacks, although everybody knows he was set up by his own damn O-line. Yeah, he probably owned a few of them. Shedeur Sanders was sacked, I think, 52 times in year one, probably from game 4 to the end of the season. He only threw 4 interceptions. And when that didn't work in year 2, he had to make some things shake because of Pat Schumer, who worked for the Giants, the same team Daboll got fired from. Now you see Albert Breer got some nice things to say, but you see all these lies? These are the things they should have been sued for. This is defamation. And they just flat out lying. How does he not have an exceptional arm talent and he won the Johnny Unitas Award? This is what I mean by, I don't know what the statute of limitation is to sue, but somebody should have sued for defamation. Because this is why they assassinated his character and lied about his skill set. This same Albert Breer that said these things, that repeated these lies, whether they were his lies or somebody else's, he repeated them, is the one after Shedeur balls out with an exceptional arm talent, setting all kind of records, breaking all kind of barriers as a rookie, as a black quarterback in Cleveland, generational talent, even though they don't want it. Should that he have been traded? That's all he had to say. Should he have been traded to the Niners before the deadline? That's it. That is no different than Kevin Stefanski. You get a ball, you get a ball, you did good, you did good, you did good. Good job, Shedeur. Ungrateful AF. Ungrateful bums who are likely pissed off that this young man, despite their efforts to hold him back, still got to QB1. So they just gonna keep at it. They just gonna keep pedaling that little racist bicycle. And Stefanski left over there to do more damage, including get him injured. And Albert Breer never apologized for writing lies and never correcting. Like some people have said, okay, I was wrong about Shedeur. But it should go back to they lied to us about Shedeur because he likely repeated what he was told with no evidence. And he ought to know better because he's a damn senior writer for Sports Illustrated. And I always thought it was weird that he worked for Sports Illustrated and they generally have nice things to say about Shedeur. I'm like, he must work from home and didn't get the office memo. Not a background player. Breer explained that for players drafted later in the 3rd round or later, teams look for a developmental player who can develop in the shadows. Sanders, given his high profile, did not fit that mold, which further narrowed the number of teams willing to draft him. So mind you, the owners took him off the board. So that's the narrowest of narrow, right? If he's not available, the teams couldn't draft him. It don't have shit to do with his background mode. He should have never been in the background anyway. And Stefanski didn't even develop him while he was in the background. And Shedeur alluded to the fact that he had to somewhat change up his personality a little bit because he was a what? Background player. But what is it that they know? They said he act like he was going to be a top 5 guaranteed pick. He was supposed to be top 2. He wasn't even supposed to be available to go to number 3. And it's not that he didn't want to go to certain teams. It's that the New York Giants lied about his father. And you see Daboll got fired. And there's no evidence to suggest such. All I'm seeing is people getting their ducks in a row. A background player. Why the hell would number 2 overall, I can say with certainty by Adam Schefter that Shedeur Sanders is going to the Cleveland Browns at number 2? Or they taking a quarterback at number 2? You know it wasn't Dylan. And damn sure wasn't Cam, because how many times they interviewed with him? And it wasn't Jalen Milroe, because they act like he don't exist. All they did was lure that young man in the first round, number 2 spot, so other teams could look for somebody else. And played good cop, bad cop between the Browns and the Giants, with the Giants doing the defamation and character assassination and scapegoating of Coach Prime. And the good cop was the Browns. So when Shedeur chose the Browns, because they had already pre-drafted him extensively, and I know he has evidence, and that might be one of the reasons his house was robbed and the contents of his nightstand was taken, because I know in my nightstand, I got several devices. That's why he thought it made sense to go there, because they knew his talent. Why would he be behind Lamar? Why would he be behind Jalen Hurts? Notice they only suggested he be behind other black quarterbacks. And here come Albert Breer the day after everybody realizes Shedeur's generational talent, not with apologies for repeating lies, but to talk about him being traded. Don't forget he's an NFL insider. Understand that's Andrew Berry's job, who just was in the locker room with the Attaboys. Not Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry. Don't be surprised he get traded, but it better be QB1, because they're going to get some smoke. And Stefanski's still going to be out here trying to set up Shedeur so they could send him on his way as a QB2 and 3. And just like the Panthers game, act like the Raiders game didn't exist. It's just the old stale playbook. And the label and the cover says for use with black quarterbacks only. That's what it says. On the back, how to devalue black quarterbacks. Here's the script. Albert Breer is part of the problem. He think he's safe because he repeating what other people tell him, but he had no evidence at all. So that's what he said before. It said in-season reporting during the rookie year. It said Dylan Gabriel ahead in August. In August of 2025, Breer reported that fellow rookie Dylan Gabriel was ahead of Sanders, and Sanders had a lot of ground to make up. Lie. Encouraging first start. Following Sanders' first start in November 2025, Breer commented on X that Sanders made you want to see more and hadn't gotten over his skis. That was the first post I saw before I said, oh, Albert Breer is back at it, right? So let me explain. Let me explain what that means. Remember, this is an NFL insider. I don't even think he has his own opinion. Encouraging first start. Shedeur Sanders made you want to see more. What just happened today? Shedeur was added to the depth chart as QB1, despite Kevin Stefanski running out here thinking the earth gonna shake because Dylan coming back 1-5. So when he said that and I saw it, I said, oh, okay. So now he advocating for Shedeur to get back out there. Remember, these people all running a circle together. And what did they say about Shedeur Sanders? I think it was Mike Florio. I think Mike Florio was the one that said Shedeur Sanders didn't hire an agent because the grown QB wanted to get his full pie because he's supposed to be top 5. So they knew they was counting his pockets. But all he ended up with was an uncooked Pop-Tart. So now when other teams are talking about playoff contention, and it seems like this will be the first time in probably a minute that there's only one black quarterback going to these championship games, or so they think, right? Lamar Jackson's still out there as well as Jalen Hurts. But then in all the other corners, you got Matt Stafford, you got Drake May, you got what's his name down in Tampa, the one that used to be in Cleveland, him, Baker Mayfield, right? So you have a lot of more white quarterbacks this year because last year in the championships, it was supposed to be 4 black quarterbacks, but Lamar got cheated. So it was 3 black and 1 white. Now you see how they already reversed it to 1 black and 3 white. The same thing is coming in the 2026 draft because they already been working hard. Instead of the first round being comprised of 3 black quarterbacks or 2 black and 1 white, it's flipped. 3 non-black, maybe no black, or maybe 1. But Lenore Sellers is sitting at number 38 in the second round. Why? Because the first round is inherent QB1. So they knew to lock Shedeur out, or they said they did. Some clubs said we didn't lock him out. They lied. So see, everybody ain't on with the Stefanski BS. Everybody not with the 32 owner colluding. Everybody's not with it. Everybody's not with it. And for Mark Davis to extend niceties to Coach Prime after the way they all treated Shedeur and Coach Prime. Understand this, the Sanders didn't do anything. They're a threat. You know why they're a threat? Because we're going to talk about it. White people, black people, Hispanic people, and anybody else that come to this country that like football. And then they move it overseas. And although they using Shedeur Face and Travis Face on all their marketing overseas, I don't want you to talk about them. I want to use them for likes and clicks, and I want you to like the Manning kid. I want you to talk about the Manning, something that a lot of the younger generation don't even know them like that. They know Shedeur. They know Shiloh. Some of them know Coach Prime. You know why? Because people still buy Coach Prime jerseys. Because after I don't know how many years he hasn't played football, maybe 30, I don't know. He still signs autographs, helmets, and all kinds of paraphernalia for every damn team he has played for, including the Baltimore Ravens. And I didn't know he played for them. I had no idea until Nike released some shoe in a Baltimore Ravens colorway. I think maybe he was number 37. In Atlanta, you would think Coach Prime was the head coach. The way it's like a religion around here. Football Jesus. That's who they want to shun. They want to shun their talent. They want to shun Coach Prime's legacy with his kids. So kick out Shiloh, ignore Shedeur, but don't let him go because he's going to go somewhere else and shine. Draft and destroy. Also a chapter in that stale playbook. How to devalue black quarterbacks. So I just kind of wanted you to see the context of where this NFL insiders narratives, how they align with what's happening in Cleveland and what the NFL did to Shedeur. And it should give you some insight in what they want to do to Shedeur. You don't backtrack anything you said about him, but you want to talk about a trade because that's what you're going to do anyway. So you still going to do it. Just like Stefanski still got a job. So you still going to do it. Oh, okay. You still going to set him up. Oh, okay. So you still going to trade him. You still going to set him up. And the reason you're going to set him up is so you don't have to trade him as a QB1. That's why you did not acknowledge that he's a generational talent. And you want to see more because the grown QB did not get his full pie. You got him for cheap. Deep discount. So you're going to put him out there to sell season tickets for next year, get your fans all excited and give them false hope and trade him away and get somebody that's not proven or better than him. Good luck with that shit. Because I already see your fans, what they made of. They going to go somewhere else. They're going to find another way. They're going to send the message. So all of these niceties without making amends and apologies, it's some bullshit. They owe every last Sanders person that somebody need to pick up Shiloh. Because we know he was baited in because we see how you sabotage Shedeur. So yeah, what you doing to Shedeur, you did to Shiloh. You just don't want Shedeur to go nowhere because 10 million people going with him. So you baited him in with no real intent. That's fraud. We already talking about bribery. We already talking about corruption. We already discussed racketeering. We already discussed malpractice. I mean, how low you want to go? So that's Albert Breer. If you hear the name, now you understand the context of which direction the hate come from, that he's a mouthpiece, that he is an NFL insider. Now you understand. You just now you understand. So it said in 2026 uncertain, despite the encouraging performance by Shedeur Sanders, Breer noted that the team needed more information on Sanders and stated that he would bet the Browns' 2026 starting quarterback is not currently on the roster. You know why he can bet that? Because he knows that. He knows that. So despite Shedeur being a generational talent, we don't want you. We don't value you. And they're going to leave Stefanski there to set him up, to trade him as anything other than a QB1 and possibly 2. And if I'm Shedeur and they do that, I'm retired. You ain't got to hold on to me because I'm going to let you go. And my 10 million fans coming with me. And I'm going to let you deal with the fallout. And I'm going to turn around and sue your ass for $500 million at minimum. At minimum. Because see, they still on that BS-ery. That's why I wanted you to see this. So when you hear we might need to see more from Dylan. They trying to tell you, we not sold on Shedeur, talking about we need to see more from Shedeur. Of course, to sell season tickets. I can tell you, I bet he's not on the roster. They want Shedeur to shake in his boots. If God closes the door to Shedeur in Cleveland, that is the best thing that can happen for him, considering they've already robbed this house. That was the move to let Shedeur know, if God closed the door, don't look back. You came, you conquered, keep it pushing. That would be a blessing for him. And if I'm him, I'm gonna let Cleveland, the Browns, deal with their fans because they better get somebody good. Because they see what Shedeur made of. They ain't got to see no more. They know what time it is. They wanted to see more from Shedeur after the Ravens game. See how he wanted to see more from Shedeur after he's generational talent? Because they don't want him to be seen as generational talent. So they want to keep pushing the false narrative that he not. But I don't know what make any of these people think that we need them to tell us what we see with our own eyes. They doing more damage to their brand. They're not digging a grave for Shedeur. They're digging a grave for the league itself. So that's Albert Breer. So there's some positives here. Not Albert Breer, but there's some positives with seeing Coach Prime with Mark Davis. There's some positives with Andrew Berry going to Shedeur. I feel like trade is possible, and probable and probably best for Shedeur. Again, the road that is being paved with Stefanski still working there is to set Shedeur up like he did at the Rams game so he can be 1-5 like Dylan. Now understand, they don't have to do any of this. They don't have to set Shedeur up. They can just let Shedeur go out here and play football and win. But see, they don't want him to be traded as the generational talent that he is, but that's too bad. And we all have watched Stefanski set up Shedeur, so we going to see the play. And people going to call it out, but they still willing to risk it even after the Browns fans hung back and left the Muni lot empty. You see how they not going to stop? Julian Johnson Law. Black people underestimate just how far these races are willing to go and how long they're willing to keep it up. That's the part that we miss out on as a people. We think because we win in court or we think that we make it to QB1, that's it. They just like an abusive partner. If can't nobody have you, if I can't have you, can't nobody else have you. And I'm going to do to you what I want to do to you. They just like an abusive partner. I said it. These players, these black quarterbacks are in an abusive relationship with their respective teams. So let me see what y'all are saying. Because see, they totally are discounting the fans. Totally discounting. As if they could tell the fans, and do whatever the hell they want to, even though they just got the message from the Cleveland fans, even though they saw how many people showed up to that game, how many people watched that game. Stuck on stupid. That's all it is. That racism got them blind. It makes them irrational. Hey, Tina, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It said the Browns are not trading 12. Albert Breer is not relevant. We gonna see. I ain't mad if they do. Hell, he don't need to win nothing for them anyway. They ungrateful. They should have fired Stefanski if they cared about Shedeur. It said it looks like them folks want to bury Shedeur behind some mediocre QB so he won't shine. Right. That's why he was talking about Shedeur going, should he have been traded to the 49ers? He know they roster probably got 4 quarterbacks if I had to check right now, their depth chart. Because I think they ended up getting somebody, they had 4. And when Brock Purdy got hurt, people suggested Shedeur, and you know how everybody, we already got a quarterback. Okay. Remember, 32 teams didn't need an MVP in Lamar Jackson. But I bet if his mama was white, they would have been fine with it. Instead, I just heard Barry is booking performances for the home game, and Shedeur is more popular than Obama. I have heard that. I have heard that. Somebody said, who was it performed at halftime in Vegas? Somebody, I don't know. I know Jeezy did Atlanta's halftime. And they said, did y'all know that so-and-so did the halftime show? So I don't know. If y'all know who it was that did the halftime show at Vegas, let me know. It said, Breer is adored. No one listen to him. Good. They getting on him in the comments. It said, it's never enough when Black people are in white spaces. Yep, that's facts. That's facts. It said Shedeur had 3 passes over 35 yards versus the Raiders. Yep, and he had 2. You said 3 over 35, right? And he had 2 over 50, which is supposed to be record setting. It said Shedeur can go 6-0, and they will be planning to draft the QB, right? Because what does it prove? It don't matter what he do. We don't want you. We don't value you. You shouldn't have drafted it. You shouldn't have drafted it. But they also wanted to control what he did after. Because if I can't have you, can't nobody else have you. That's all it is. That's all it is. It said QBR is 8.7. Shedeur needs to be it needs to be investigated. Yeah, they say they think ESPN's QBR of 8.7 is rigged to show that Shedeur is not good. Yeah, I heard people say that. It said, and Tom Brady should have not influenced the Raiders to draft Cam Miller. That's why they sent Tom Brady there. Because they knew what they was going to get him to do and tell Pete Carroll, who had good things to say about Shedeur. But again, seeing Mark Davis, I want to see who we're going to see next. It says Shedeur had 3 passes over 35 yards versus the Raiders. Yes, thank you. Jim Crow collusion. That's all it is. That's all it is. And people want to say it's not about this. No, this is exactly what it's about. That's why whoever said earlier today, the last time I saw anybody act like this about a Black quarterback was Lamar Jackson. This is why. It's not just that they Black. They got 2 Black parents and they're beautifully melanated. Optics. Optics. What did I say happened in the 4:00 time slot? It was going to be 7-1. And then all of a sudden, this year, the championships, the way they're stacking them up now, discounting Lamar totally and trying to drag down Jalen Hurts. What, they want to get Dak up in there, or they just want to take Hurts down? Somebody got to be number one. What, they rather it be Dak than Jalen Hurts? They both Black, but yes, Jalen Hurts has 2 Black parents. Understand, I told you these people go by the 1-drop rule. When people are crazy like that, they ain't gonna let you win. They just gonna keep you from going somewhere else. But again, I said this has happened to a lot of people, but Shedeur is the only one coming in the league with 3 million fans that has grown to 4 million fans, and 2.5 million fans bought his jersey. And after last night game, and people over in Africa, the biggest continent on the damn planet, is probably about 10 million. And that's who they want to go to war with. And I said, you must want to go to war with your fans. The Browns already did it. But you see, they still want to play. They still want to play. They want to play clips of their fans saying, yeah, Shedeur is good, but maybe we want to see who we can get next year. Go ahead. Because I don't think that person was at the game. But all of the people that hung back, the people that went to Vegas, there's a lot of 12 jerseys out there. A lot of 12 jerseys. Keep playing. Keep playing. Shedeur told you he ain't going to fail, and he not. And because you make him fail doesn't mean he's a failure, and he is going to go somewhere else. Because if I'm Canada, I'm rubbing my hands like Birdman. How much money can we get for this kid? That would be the best thing ever. Because, see, they think he don't want to leave us. Okay. Sound like an abusive person in a relationship. You don't want to leave me. All right. And when you go to work, when you come back, this bitch going to be empty. That's what it's going to be. Because I ain't going to be here. Arrogance. Stuck on stupid. Keep playing. Everybody see what this kid is. Evening. It said, did Tom Brady congratulate Shedeur after the game? If so, he must have sent him a text because he wasn't there. It says Shedeur can win every game moving forward, and they'll say he's not the franchise QB. Right. And when I went back and looked at their win-loss column, I said, Shedeur could have beat Miami. You know why Miami lost that game? Look at what happened since they lost that game. They fired their black GM, and they start winning. They have now won 4 games. Andrew Berry must still have a purpose in Cleveland, and maybe it's to get Shedeur the hell out of there, and they'll fire him next. We're going to see. Because they could have gave him that job. For Paul DePodesta's job, they could have gave him that job. And maybe this is some kind of audition for him to be setting up halftime stuff because Paul DePodesta was supposedly the culture person. Yeah, okay. And the Raiders coach was raving over Shedeur. Right. So here we go. We got what's his name? Pete Carroll raving over Shedeur, fired his OC. The owner extended a suite to Coach Prime. Shedeur don't play for the Raiders. You think that would have came from the Browns. The owner letting Coach Prime go in the tunnel to connect with Shedeur. Did y'all see anybody from the Browns talking to Coach Prime? I mean, maybe it happened, we didn't see it. But I did see at the end of the game when Coach Prime, Shedeur was talking to Coach Prime, some dude came out the locker room and said, Coach wants you. Just like when Shedeur was doing his solo up and down the field. Did y'all notice Kevin Stefanski interrupt him? Go back and watch it. It's on Bucky's channel. We got a lot of footage to watch on Friday. We're probably going to be about 2.5, 3 hours. They short clips, but we're going to want to talk about it. We're going to want to talk about it. I think at least 3 clips I know of right now we're going to watch. Become a member today. You'll enjoy it. So, Kevin Stefanski walked right up to Shedeur when he was in the middle of his back and forth, his one thing, doing his mantra. At the end of the game, a black guy came up to him, I think when he was still talking to Coach Prime, and I'm pretty sure I heard him say, Coach wants you or something like that. So you want to disrupt him while he's talking to Coach Prime, because you know he out here talking to Coach Prime, so you could disrespect him and undermine him in front of his teammates. Oh, okay. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure he hurry up and stop talking to his daddy so you can come disrespect him. It said, yep, Tom can't look Shedeur Sanders in his eyes because he did him dirty, right? It said pre-walk. He was on the sidelines. Yep. And Stefanski walked right in front. I said, oh, okay, here we go. And when I heard the guy say, Coach wants you, I said, oh, so he just want to humiliate him real fast. Oh, okay. So I got to stop. He just want to control every aspect of what Shedeur does. That's how you know Stefanski has a problem that has nothing to do with just being a poor coach. That has everything to do with thinking he's an overseer from the movie Roots. Because he want to force Shedeur into whatever box he want to force Shedeur into and force him to say his name is Toby, and he going to make his life hell until he say it. But since Shedeur refuses to say it and he refuses to give up, somebody got to go. Because you're not going to break Shedeur. And all Stefanski going to do is keep exposing himself in the organization for corruption. So be it. Watch the well-off video. You will see CP walk on to the sideline. Okay, I don't think I made it. Maybe I didn't watch the whole thing, but thank you. It said that hug in the locker room with Shedeur and Barry was very telling. Right, it should tell you that Barry is getting his way. And it should tell you that Stefanski is not. And when you think about what I just told you about what Albert Breer was talking about, instead of admitting the things that he said about Shedeur, whether people told them to him and he didn't have no evidence and he repeated it, which was disgusting and helped to devalue this young man, even though they knew what they was going to do before the combine. What did he talk about? A trade. What is Andrew Berry's job? A trade. Shedeur just outproduced his draft stock. The only reason they want to put Dylan out there is to try to get him to outproduce his. He 1-5. Who gonna want him? And Stefanski did that to him. He could have just let Shedeur play and kept coveting Dylan. But now he got Dylan out here looking crazy, and now he wants Shedeur to match Dylan's crazy. That's what he want to do. And that's why he should have been fired. But I see they want to keep protecting Stefanski. They want to keep going in and lying about Shedeur and ignoring that he's generational talent. All right. Okay. So let's get ready for round 3. It said they know they screwed up. It keeps coming back to Shedeur telling Bucky this gonna be us, meaning owning the Browns for what all 32 teams have done to him. The new stadium getting built, that is his. Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that. It says Cleveland needs to let Shedeur go. They are gonna let Shedeur go. They're gonna try to find somewhere for Shedeur to go so they can keep Stefanski. That's what they're gonna do. They are actively working to trade him. You just don't know about it. And don't be surprised if Vegas come up, because the first relationship I see repaired. Because somebody said it. Coach Prime is NFL royalty. I'm like, what you been watching? And here we go. Mark Davis extended niceties. So they're ready to flip that switch back on. I would be too, especially when you got Ben Crump out here reposting about Shedeur and talking about how when Black excellence rises, or when Black excellence comes along or arrives, they want to hold them back. And then when Black excellence starts to accelerate and rise, they keep moving the goalpost. And that's exactly what they're doing to Shedeur, moving the goalpost, coming up with every kind of excuse. Shedeur could win the goddamn Super Bowl just like Cam, and they would do him the same way. We don't have nobody to trade you. Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP. Nobody needs a 2-time MVP. Nobody needs an MVP on their team. They're gonna do this. They're gonna try to do the same thing. But Shedeur's fan base will continue to grow and expand overseas. See, they want to expand overseas. He's going to expand overseas. Why? Because they refuse to let him go. So he's going to be here. And you heard what 47 said, and he ain't going nowhere. Nah, I don't need to come out and say you better start him. But let's see what they try. Because if you cared enough to update him on the depth chart, you know he gonna be there. Now, don't be surprised if they try to be ugly and take Shedeur and let Dylan start the Titans game. They don't want Cam versus Shedeur. That was the whole point of disrupting 17 Black starting quarterbacks. Because I don't want to see the 4 o'clock time slot filled with Black quarterbacks, which is why they was all in the 4 o'clock time slot and not on primetime TV. See, the foolishness has already started, and they can't even get to 17 with Shedeur. But when they held Shedeur back, guess who ascended? Because Tyler Shaw stuck up the place. Spencer Rattler in New Orleans, wearing the number 2, who shunned Shedeur. You see? Jackson Dart. I think the reason he not playing is because they not good. And they don't want to admit that they should have drafted Shedeur. So even holding Jackson Dart back, Shedeur still got the nod to go ahead. And all they want to talk about, we haven't seen enough yet. Trade. Okay, do it. That ain't going to make Jackson Dart no better. And you're going to have to prop up Tyler Shaw every damn game he played. Didn't they just lose to the Falcons with Kirk Cousins? Yo, okay. When you think you're smarter than everybody else, you're going to find out who really in control. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So, yeah, the hug in the locker room remind you of Jerry Maguire. Yeah, because Shedeur did Exactly what Andrew Berry wanted once they got him. I believe Andrew Berry wanted him to be the franchise QB unless, like Mike Tomlin, he knew it was going to always go this way. And he looked exasperated because y'all said we wouldn't get him. And now I look stupid out here. Because somebody, when he pre-draft extensively, there's conversations, there's things recorded. They did this. They know how many times they knew they was getting him. That's evidence. But you got me out here behind Dink and Dunk, and you know I'm better than him, so you discriminating against me. That's evidence. That's evidence. Understand that that's what that is. So I believe that that's what it will be, right? It said Judy need to be investigated. That's what people saying. They saying he need to be investigated for gambling. I say bribery. I say bribery. I do. I say bribery. It said like Mike was the ambassador of the NBA. Like Mike was the ambassador of the NBA. Shedeur will be for the NFL. Oh, okay. You talking about are you talking about Michael Jordan? People have said they believe that Shedeur will be the LeBron James of the NFL. That's what they don't want. Because they want it to be the Mannings. They want the Mannings to be the ambassador. They want the Mannings to be the family that everybody talks about, to be NFL royalty. They don't want Shedeur, Coach Prime, or Shiloh. Shedeur said, I'm the last one. He is. He said, I wouldn't have told you 5, 6 months ago I will be here. So that tell you how they were treating him or mistreating him. How they were. If we saw that they were showing him, we don't want you, we don't value you. Imagine what the hell was really going on. It said the resistance is really about maintaining control and maintaining whiteness as the face of the league, maintaining whiteness with the family legacies. That's why so many Black Legends players didn't make their teams. And now y'all say Brendan Rice got picked up. I don't know about Terrell Owens' son. Asante Samuel's son got picked up, but it ain't changing Asante Samuel's commentary. He's still standing up for Shedeur. And I think Ryan Clark's son got put on a practice squad. I don't know. Maybe he was elevated. And then Frank Gore Jr. and Terrell Owens' sons are the last two. But yeah, they all got cut. Maybe Shiloh will come back now that we're starting to see people niceties to Coach Prime. Let's see who's next. If we see somebody else, then I think we might see Shiloh. But right now, they are engrossed with trying to devalue Shedeur. But all they're doing is exposing themselves. We know who that kid is. Everybody does now. Even some of the haters have converted. I don't need to see no more from Dylan. I was rolling with Dylan, but I don't need to see no more. People want that excitement. That's what the fans are paying for, competitive sports. They're not paying for you to fawn over Dylan and lose. Prop up your boo. What the hell? Kevin Stefanski might be betting. I don't know. Some people say Ruggs. Some people say betting. I say racism. It said Dinkins, Dunkins. Yep, just Dinkin and Duncan. That's it. It said Shiloh is a silent safety. I don't know why he's not on the league. The same reason that they were trying to hold Shedeur back at QB3 and trying and scapegoating Coach Prime. No judge would think that what the New York Giants did to Shedeur was okay. In particular, after they trashed Coach Prime. Well, we worried about your dad. No, you're not. No, you're not. I mean, here's my thing. If you don't want to be known as racist, just stop being racist. But it seems like they have to be racist, and I have to cover it up. And I have to destroy you. They never had to devalue Shedeur. He said it. I didn't care if he went number 21. That's why they parked Aaron Rodgers over there. Don't forget, the Steelers got to play. Don't the Steelers have to play the Browns soon? I wonder who's going to be the quarterback, because I heard they elevated Will Howard. Let's see if they don't want to put Aaron Rodgers out there against Shedeur. Understand, they're going to try to find a way. for Shedeur not to win the Raiders game? Or they gonna have their excuse ready? Yeah, they trash. They second to last anyway. So that's probably what they gonna say. That's probably what they gonna say. I have this one more thing to share with y'all. Let's see. Somebody posted all the excuses they gonna come up with. All of the excuses that they gonna come up with to say if Shedeur, they say Shedeur could win all the games and go to the Super Bowl, the playoffs to the Super Bowl and win, and they gonna lie. And they gonna lie. Because that's how they doing. They just lying at this point. I'm like, are y'all really willing to expose everybody? And I told y'all Stefanski was gonna be the one to get them roped up. Okay? And Shedeur, if you can hear this, or anybody that knows Shedeur, please let your mama come cook or go home to your mama house. Don't go to nobody's house for nothing. Don't eat nobody's food. Don't let them take you out. Stay to yourself and your family before you get to this 49ers game. Just know they really don't want you to be QB1. They feel like it's forced. So they plotting. Do not don't eat nobody's food. Don't drink nobody's drink. You don't have no friends right now. Maybe your little YNs, but you got to look at them sideways too because they knew. They knew. Trust no one before you play this game. And it needs to be that way every time when you play a game because they don't want you to shine at all. They knew you were good. They knew. That's why they work so hard to hold you back. I thought about that. I see people who I was side-eyeing facing the stands showing him love. And I'm like, yeah, if you get a Thanksgiving invite, I'm going to need you to respectfully decline. Respectfully decline. Sorry, it has to be this way, but you got to protect yourself. You have been shown multiple times on and off the field. You can't trust no one. Trust your family. That's why you got them. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Yes, they would set this kid up with some illness. Yes, they would set this kid up with some type of injury. Absolutely. Tyrod Taylor, punctured lung, to steal his QB1 job. So yes, they would do it. So I asked the question. I said, can Kevin Stefanski be trusted to be the head coach with Shedeur Sanders at QB1? I asked this question before Shedeur was named QB1. All right, here we go right here. The answer to the question: should Kevin Stefanski be trusted to coach Shedeur Sanders as QB1 going forward? 97 people, only 7% said yes. The negatives were 55% no and 38% absolutely not. It's the same responses, they're near identical. 7% yes on X. So there you go. People do not trust. It's just a no or absolutely not. Whether you fanatic or not about it, or whether you feel strongly about it, it's no regardless. It's no. The emphasis on no. So that's that, guys. So we got that, right? All right. So let me go through some more comments and we're gonna get out of here because I have to come back at 10:35. Hit the like button. There are 153 of us. Good job. Hit the like button for me, please. Oh, and I do have 250 more to get to 6,000. So please subscribe to the channel. My Christmas gift is 6,000 subs by Christmas Eve, which is less than 30 days. So I need 250 more to go. So please subscribe to the channel. If you're hanging out in the background, please do me a solid. Pick up whatever you got, or if it's touchscreen, or click the button, subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you to everybody that recently subscribed. I think we have a new member. Let's see who we got. Let's see. We got somebody new, so y'all show them some love. Let's see who it is so I can say thank you. Meb, me, BBB7. Okay, so new member. I'll put them on the screen so y'all can welcome them. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining us Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When I'll probably schedule it on Thursday. So when I schedule it and it's for members only, you'll get a notification. If you don't get anything, but you should, even if you see the message, if you see the video, it'll say members only and probably have a title. And you click on it, you should be able to see it because it can tell whether or not somebody's a member or not with or without the notification. So shout out to YouTube for that. And shows already planned. It'll be good because we got some things to look at that people haven't been talking about. And the title might be what the hell is really going on with Jerry Judy. All right. So look for that and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. If you're curious about becoming a member, just hit the join button. There's 2 levels. Pick your level. And you can do it for 1 month or you just renew it if you want to. Thank y'all for renewing. A lot of you renew every month. I appreciate it. That's a huge vote of confidence. So thank you. All right. So I'm headed back over to the comments before I get out of here. All right. Let's see here. To see what y'all thinking. If y'all just not joining us, we talked about the narrative that's being pushed about Shedeur, whether it's a trade scenario, Andrew Berry, who's a GM who would likely be part of the trade. We're talking about Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, the opposing team the Browns played, who Shedeur played for, extended a suite to Coach Prime, which is huge after the way Coach Prime and Shedeur were treated in the draft and how Shiloh was baited into a situation and cut. So that's the first owner that we can see gravitated toward Coach Prime. I want to see who's next. And Tom Shady was MIA. He could have sent Shedeur a text, but it would surprise me if he didn't say anything. That's why we call him Tom Shady. So it said Albert Breer will be exposed. It said God sees him and others involved. It said, get your popcorn ready to watch the consequences. I know that's right. It says some Colorado fans was talking about Prime using the jet to go to the game on Sunday, but not to recruit new players in high school. They say that every year. And he's allowed to use the jet. It's in his contract. It's in all of these coaches' contracts. They also have country club memberships. So you mad about that too? Shut up. It said, all these owners have access to a computer. They should have done their own research about Shedeur. Here's the thing, right? That's what they pay all of these scouts for. And who were the first firings after the draft for the New York Giants? The scouts. They were scapegoated. I don't know why these people don't write a book or talk about it. That's what social media is for. It's always the anonymous sources with something negative to say, but it's never the people who were done dirty to speak up. I'm like, okay, at some point, y'all got to start talking out. Finally, players are using their own platforms to talk out. But then look what happened to Gil's Arena. It got hijacked. And that's what you can't do. Basketball players shouldn't be the only ones talking about football. Hey, how you doing, Isaiah? How you doing? What's up? It said the Jets weren't misled. They were in on it. The Jets misled about what? Let me know what you're talking about. It said, Haslam loves money. It said, since Stefanski is as good as gone after the season, he should be gone now. That's the problem. What are we protecting him for? He's a losing coach. They said it's been 17 games since the offense have scored 20 or more points. I'm like, are you serious? What the hell y'all been looking at for 17 games? It's been 17 games since the offense has scored 20 or more points. This is why the Browns fans were so happy. They better stand up if they want Shedeur to be there because they already plotting to get them an unknown just because they're not black. And I don't know what the black fans in Cleveland be doing, but y'all gonna need to do something over there. I'm just saying, I appreciate y'all boycotting, but y'all got to take it to the next level. Y'all need to start tagging them sponsors. That's what you need to start doing. Don't just be celebrating the win and watch a black quarterback be discriminated against. You can't do that. It said the entire league knows exactly who 12 is. Yeah, they knew who he was when, and how many people came to Colorado's first game? 31 NFL scouts and executives. 31. Even Stefanski knew who he was. Shedeur would expose Stefanski because his game plan is trash. only 20 points. 20, I mean, you scoring 20 points or less through 17 games, and this man still has a job? His job is not to be a head coach. It is to be an overseer. And that's on Haslam. Like I said earlier today, we at the point where this is just corporate negligence when it comes to employees. And she was an employee. It said Britt has always been trash to me. It said he has no credibility. Yeah, they going at him in the comments. I still don't trust Davis either. He had multiple chances to get him. Right. Oh no, I totally agree with you. We ain't talking about trust. Understand when we talk about we seeing change, we ain't say we trust nobody. Here's the thing. You can observe something happening and you can say you can see change, but that don't mean I trust you. God say forgive. He didn't say trust. Them two different things. He didn't say trust. But I also know Coach Brian. And I ain't talking about the trust part. He gonna work the angles. If nothing else for information. It said, I'm so damn sick of the Browns. I know that's right. I noticed Kevin gave the team an extra day off, practice starting back on Wednesday, all to take a full day's practice from Shedeur. Must be at work because Shedeur somewhere practicing if it ain't raining or cold, if snowing outside. It said Big Boy is doing it this Sunday in Cleveland. Oh, Big Boy is doing a halftime show from Outkast from Atlanta. That's interesting. That's interesting. See how they courting black people? You see that the photographers, Bucky is not the only one. They got Method Man from the Power series. Remember Method Man the rapper? Then they got Marshawn Lynch. Then 50 Cent has his lounge in the Washington Commanders Stadium. And then you already know Magic Johnson over there. Then they used Tracy McGrady, who's a limited partner, to come talk to Keon Coleman with the Bills, even though they still benched him afterwards. Where Charles Woodson at? Then they got Deshaun publicly helping Shedeur, bringing him on the trip, but we didn't see Dylan. See how they courting black people? We ain't even doing a halftime show. I mean, we support the halftime show. I'm ready for my tacos. Grilled steak tacos. I'm ready. We gonna act like it's Cinco de Mayo, right? But do you see how they keep now is Big Boy? Atlanta was Jeezy. You see how they keep gravitating towards black people, but they keep trying to discriminate against black leadership, including black quarterbacks, because it's the most important position on the team, but black head coaches, black offensive coordinators, black GMs. If the league is 70 or 80% black, the leadership should not be 90% white. You're doing that intentionally. You're not even promoting from within. You're trying to run a plantation. You're not trying to run a corporation. And Stefanski is an overseer because that's what his behavior reflects. It said, I thought they had Outcast, Big Boy. Yep, that's him. Somebody said this Sunday in Cleveland. Okay, at the home game for the 49ers. That's very interesting. Oh, that's how they're going to get the black people to come back to the Muni lot? Okay, interesting. All right. Well, they better not set Shedeur up at home with Big Boy at the halftime show if you want black people to come back to the Mooney lot. I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't do it. It said, damn, what else the man got to do? He already gave blood. Right. That's what they say. They say he can win the Super Bowl. I say, you know what? They would come up with an excuse because after Cam won the Super Bowl and they got rid of him, they just cut him, just like they did Huntley. We couldn't find nowhere for you to go. That's why I said Mike Tomlin rescued what was his name? The one that they just benched in what was his name? I forgot his name just that fast. He just seemed like a good kid. He could have played baseball. He should have played baseball. Whatever his name was in Pittsburgh last year with Russell Wilson. He rescued those two and they promptly stripped him of his power. And because he rescued them like Isaac Newsom rescued Lamar Jackson, that's why they did everything they could to make sure that Mike Tomlin understood that he was not to draft Shedeur, including Aaron Rodgers want to come there. He didn't want to come there. And now he want to leave. And they want to blame Mike Tomlin because Aaron Rodgers want to leave. Okay. Who in first place in their division? Is it the Ravens yet? Let me see, because I think I looked. And yeah, people saying they want to see something else from Dylan. Close your damn eyes. That's what you need to do. And look at your thoughts. Look at your memories, because don't nobody want to be tortured by Dylan out here. And if he goes somewhere like Daniel Jones and he good, it just proves Stefanski should have been fired a long time ago. Still not apologizing to Dylan because he's not good. If he can't make nothing happen, he's not good. And that's the difference. Shedeur can make things happen. And when you have all of these people like Troy Aikman coming out, Derek and David Carr coming out and speaking, right? It just means the Browns don't want to listen. They want Stefanski there. I say they got to let him down easy. If so, move his ass, move him out the way. Move him out the way. Don't let him be a nuisance. Don't let him do any more damage, or it is negligence. That's just what it is. Let me see the NFL standings to see. Now, remember, I don't know if y'all know, but the Bengals and the Browns are tied for third for the most part. And it seems, yep, the Bengals 3-8, the Browns 3-8, both a .273. Now the Browns 2-3 at home. The Bengals are 2-4, so that's why they above. Away games 1-5, and Dylan has not won any home games. And to be honest with you, knowing that Dylan is not the guy, you really knew you were going to play Shedeur. You knew you were going to put Shedeur out here against the 49ers. What you didn't expect is for Brock Purdy to throw in the damn interceptions. So now you're scared because you know Dylan is 0-3 at home, but you know what happened last time. So you know you have no choice but to put Shedeur out here because Kevin Stefanski still has only won 3 games. But you open the door to moving Shedeur out the way at a preferred opportunity. And I bet it's the Titans. Because there are people that believe the Titans are going to beat the Browns. Cam has won 1 game out of 11, and Shedeur won his first game. Why would it be the Browns if Shedeur is the quarterback, unless you know you're going to switch off to Dylan and give Shedeur the rest of the Bears, Steelers, Bengals type situation, the tougher games, right? So yeah, that's what it is. And the Ravens are in first place. So the Ravens, let me share this with y'all. So the Ravens are in first place. So see how they tried to discount Lamar, slow him down like they did Pat Mahomes, and Lamar made it back to the top of the division. And now they got Shedeur out here. Yes, I would love to see Shedeur versus Lamar. Absolutely. I don't know. I think they said the Browns are 3 games back. So if they play their cards right, Flacco over there with the Bengals, right? The Steelers are losing. We could get Lamar versus Shedeur before it's all said and done if they get the hell out with Dylan. And he gonna be the one to mess it up, probably with the Titans game. So let me show y'all this. This is good news. This goes to show you all of that holding back Lamar was a waste of time, just like sabotaging Shedeur was a waste of time. I had no idea the Ravens climbed their way to first place. Okay, so you can see right here, the AFC North. I'll make it a little larger. Let's see. You see right here, the AFC North. Oops. Hold on one second. The AFC North, the Ravens are 6-5. The percentage is so they're slightly above 500, 5.45. The Steelers 6-5, 5.45. Home games 3-3. Steelers 4-2. Away games 3-2 versus the Steelers 2-3. Steelers on a 1-game losing streak, and the Ravens on a 5-game win streak. So it's going to be interesting when the Steelers play the Browns, what happens. Then there's the Bengals 3-8, the Browns 3-8. And as you can see, the differentiator, they have lost 4. And Shedeur is the reason that the slide for the Browns, who were on a 3-game win streak, stopped. So technically, if Shedeur played and beat the 49ers and the Bengals, I feel like they play the Ravens, Shedeur could get these people into 3rd place. He could get them into 3rd place. Do they want to get into 3rd place? I don't really know. To me, they already have the first pick from when they traded Travis And it depends on how the Jaguars do as to what happens to that pick. And they have 2 first-round picks. So we're going to see if things are changing with them, right? If the hug from Barry, you did good, see you next year, or you did good, I'm gonna get you out of here because you increased your draft stock, which is all I asked, which is I knew you was gonna do that anyway. And that was really all your purpose was supposed to be. Let's see if they want to sell some tickets or if they feel like they need to sell some tickets. But I see they starting to bring in black talent. I find that very interesting in Cleveland. I know Cleveland is 42% black, but you would think with the way they treated Shedeur that the black fans don't matter. Interesting. And then, yeah, so if you look at right now, the Super Bowl was today, the playoffs, you got Bo Nix and the Broncos versus Daniel Jones and the Colts. Then you would have Lamar Jackson and Drake May. So 3-1. Whereas before it was coming out to damn near 4. So here we go. In the NFC, Jalen Hurts, and he is ahead by a lot. So I don't know why they had to lose that game. But the Eagles, people say they infighting. So that's what happened to them. Then the Bears. So that's 1-2. That's Caleb Williams. Jalen Hurts. What's his name? Baker Mayfield. Now, Baker Mayfield, look at this right here. The Buccaneers and the Panthers. See, people kept saying the Panthers were trash. I don't even know how the Saints beat the Panthers other than the fact that that game was rigged to make Tyler Shaw stay in place. 6-6 win-loss, right at 500. The Bucs are slightly above 500. The home games 2-2. Even though the Bucs are 6-5, the Panthers are 6-6. So if the Bucs lose any more games and the Panthers keep winning, it could work out. Because the Bucs on a 3-game losing streak, so they could lose another game, and the Panthers are only on a losing streak with 1 game. Interesting. And then you have the Rams, Matt Stafford. Of course, they already talked about if he go back, this, that, and the other. He's on a 6-game win streak. He's ahead. 727 for the Seahawks. Y'all say Brendan Rice is over there. Okay. And you see the 49ers are 8-4. They on a 2-game win streak. And they well above 500, 667. And away games. I don't know where they play. I think they play in Cleveland, 5-2. They seem to do good on the road. They do worse at home. That's kind of weird. All right. So as you can see what's going on, when you look at the Browns, it is highly possible that Shedeur can put them in 3rd place. I don't know if they want that or not, if they're going to fight against it. I know Stefanski will, but I mean in terms of ownership, if you're going out and get black talent at halftime, it says you might want to win. Because you're going to want those people to buy season tickets next year too. And then it will be the Steelers. Now they look like they're too far behind the Steelers to get into 2nd place. But I mean, if he finishes 3rd, that's better than what the hell they were, right? And he just got to do better than 1-5, in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure he will. So let's see. Let's look at the schedule to see exactly who it is that's next to confirm, get some clarity here. The 49ers at home, then the Titans at home, December 7th. That is the game. I checked to see if it was in Nashville. I was like, damn it. It said, because, Atlanta's 3 hours from Nashville, but it's in Cleveland. So 2 home games for Shedeur. Then this is the 4-game stretch, right? The Bears, they don't want Dylan out there versus the Bears. They don't want Dylan out there versus the Bills. They don't want Dylan out there versus the Steelers. And they don't want Dylan out there versus the Bengals because Flacco was already balling out when he left. The only game the narrative fits, we might need to see a little more from Dylan, is to snatch the opportunity for Shedeur to play against Cam. Let's see how petty and disgusting they are to do something like that, because that's also hurting the fans who want to see it as well. All right, so that's that. Okay, so now Baltimore is leading the division. Shedeur can get them to 3rd place. I don't know if the Steelers going to keep sliding down, but that's what would have to happen for unless there's some kind of wild card situation happening. I don't think they want Shedeur to beat Aaron Rodgers. I just don't, right? So we're gonna see, guys. We're gonna see. All right, I'm gonna get out of here because I gotta be back at 10:35. It's already 8 o'clock, and I still need to eat dinner. This was good. This was good. This was good. Tonight, when we come back, we'll be talking about Colorado. I need some catching up to do over there. I need to understand how this red shirt works with Juju taking a red shirt for the last game. I think y'all confirmed that Caden is the starter and Staub is the backup. So still no real opportunity for Ponder. And I sure hate that. But I want to understand how the red shirt works. And some of our seniors, I saw Colorado posting pictures of it's a lot of seniors. And my heart broke because y'all know when Omarion posted the beginning of the season, I'm like, oh wow. That means everybody that came in from Jackson State, Jeremiah Brown, he already talked about his plans for after college, Mata, The Rock, I think his name, Tyler Brown. I think that's it from Jackson State. And then we got Omarion came in. Oh, everybody gonna be gone. Everybody they came in with year one, gone. From Jackson State, gone. It's just gonna be a whole new crop of people, hopefully led by Juju with Coach Prime. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. All right. So I'll see y'all later. This was good. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with What She Said Sports. We'll be back at 10:35. Thank you to the new member. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you at 6 M Web. Is it M Web or me BBB? Thank you so much. It said Judy needs to be investigated. That is facts. I'm just gonna read a few more of these before we get out of here. It said, yup, things can happen at restaurants. Remember, the Ukrainian president got polonium in his food. Yeah, don't. Just stay with your family. Thank you, but no thank you. That's all you say. Thank you, but no thank you. My family's in town. I appreciate it. Don't ask for no rain check. Just say it's okay to say no. Thank you, but my family's coming to town and I'm hosting. That's it. You hosting. That's it. Close family only. That's it. Oh, I'm not kidding about that. I'm not kidding about that at all. Desperation has set in. And when desperate people do desperate things, right? Injury, illness. That's the two things that takes him out the game and the fans can't say nothing. So stay with your family. All right. I'm going to see y'all later. 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. Same channel, What She Said Sports. Thank you to new subscribers. Thank you to new members. 250 gets me to 6,000 before Christmas Eve. So subscribe. And of course, go shopping over at whatshesaidsports.com. That's where I get this cute Shedeurian hat from. I think we got 2 colors. So check it out. And I'll see y'all tonight. Have a good one. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thanks, everybody.